Your stories with celebrities. A few years ago, I was waiting tables in a Thai place in a small town in Vermont. It was slow, and so I was doing sit work in the other service section, which was occupied by one party of 5. As I walked past their table to go to the kitchen, I noticed one of the members of the party and thought to myself, hey, that hot old guy looks like Mandy Patinkin. Inigo Montoya from Princess Bride. Why would he be here, though? A bit later, I walked by again, trying to discreetly get a better look. Of course, being the person that I am, I tripped over a fan. So much for discretion. At this point, the guy asked me if I might be able to get him some more tea. I said of course, and then said something like, okay. This is a really stupid question, and I'm sure the answer's no. But I won't ever forgive myself if I don't ask. Are you Mandy Patinkin? To my surprise, he replied with, yes, actually, I am. I then proceeded to blurt out the first stupid thing that came to mind, which was, I've been in love with you since I was 3. Mandy, God love him, gave me the warmest smile I've ever seen and said, I'm so glad we're finally getting the chance to meet. I then brought him more tea and geeked out in the back so he could enjoy his dinner. Caught a selfie with him before he left, though. TLDR, met Inigo Montoya, made an ass of myself. He was really cool about it. I've told this before, but in 2005, when I was 19 and had a really bad stutter, I met Green Day. Trey Cool pointed and laughed in my face, mimicked my stutter, said, freak out much? And just walked off when I tried to talk to him. Cut to 2014, Green Day again in town. A friend and I decide to go bowling. Walk into bowling alley on street I live in, and are completely surprised to discover Green Day are in there bowling. I walk up to bar to get a drink. Trey Cool also walks up to bar and says hi to me. I think fuck it and say hi. You know, I met you a decade ago when I had a bad stutter, and you mocked me for it. So check it out, no stutter now. He apologized and said that he knows he was a dick back then. He probably thought I was so in awe of him that I couldn't talk, apologized several times, and gave me an AAA pass for the gig the next day, and said come hang out tomorrow, so I can prove I'm not an arsehole. So yeah, well and truly accepted that apology, and no longer think the guy is a dickhead. 3 stories for this one. I was in Paris on my honeymoon and walked into the lobby of the hotel. Standing in front of me at the front desk was Sting. He was there for an event that he was singing at for a major oil company. Said my hello. Quick handshake on back on my way upstairs. Got to listen to the set until about 2 a.m. that night from the comfort of our hotel room. Second is not so much a celebrity as he is an entertainer. Was at a deadmau5 concert with some people. Stepped outside to have a smoke in the back corner of the smoking area. Couple people walk out of the RVs that were there, and I get a hey, how's it going? Look up and go through the normal, not too bad, just waiting to head back in and enjoy the show. First time being at one of these, and it is a little overwhelming with all of the people. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I have to run, though. Have to go and get ready. Have a good night. Everyone starts going apeshit in the smoking area and crowding around me. Took me a second to notice the giant Space Invaders tattoo on his neck. Last one was kind of a fluke, but was driving in my buddy's car in Michigan. Pulled up to a stoplight, looked over and saw a silver Mustang next to us. Windows were down, and I glance over and see Eminem staring at us. Gave my buddy a blank look, looked back, got a quick nod, and hey, what's up? Blank stares still ensuing. He laughs and took off. Not my story, but my Italian professor. She's your typical little old Italian grandmother. Very overbearing, absolutely no shame. She and her family, including her 2 young grandsons, were out for dinner at a fancy restaurant in town her one night. One of her grandkids looked over at another table and said, oh my God, that's the Birdman. Birdman was very big here at the time. He was still on the Nuggets and was pretty much the face of the team. He was sitting in a quiet corner with a date and just minding his own business. My professor started encouraging the boys to go ask for an autograph, but their mother said no, leave him alone, he's having dinner. Well, Italian grannies will do anything for their grandchildren. So she stood up and marched over to the table. She looks this hulking basketball player in the eye and says, you are the Birdman? He says yes. She grabs his arm, pulls him up, and brings him over to their table. Then she sits him down at their table and says, "My grandsons love you." Birdman, decent guy he was, just starts laughing and was like, "Okay, okay, Granny." He signed their hats for them or some shit, chats for a minute, and then goes back to his food. Italian Granny is very pleased with herself. Everyone else is mortified by her lack of social graces. As she's telling me this story, she then launches into a 20-minute tirade about how that nice young man ruined himself by covering himself with all those tattoos. Ran into Ryan Dunn while I was spending a weekend in Los Angeles. Backstory: I was stationed about 2.5 hours east of LA, so I spent my weekends exploring SoCal. I had a brief fanboy moment, told him I was a huge fan of what he did, but try to play it cool because I'm in the Marine Corps. We ended up shooting the shit for about 45 minutes. During the conversation, he noticed a tattoo of mine containing the Maryland state flag and asked what I was doing in LA. I told him what was what, and he stuck his hand out and said, "I'm a big fan of what you do." Really struck a chord with me. It's also the reason I have 5 plus 4 is equal to 9 tattooed on the top of my right foot. It's my way of honoring his memory. I met Nicky Lauda on a flight once. I had no idea it was him because I kind of forgot. It's not like his face was unburnt or anything. It was just plain old him. We talked for a while about cars. Didn't realize it till I got to the hotel. Felt like an idiot. I have met James Hetfield more than a few times. I travel to SF a lot and have met him at car shows, just walking around and in a couple of diners. We've talked about everything from rat traps to cars to Metallica and dogs. When I finally got meet and greet tickets at a Metallica show, I met the others, and when James came out, he was like front desk guy 95. "Who let you in? Mwahahaha. Come with me after this. You're in for a treat." I got super great seats and a couple of goodies. I've kept in touch, but he doesn't always reply. If you don't know him, please respect his time with his family. He will not take a photo with you, but he will talk with you for a couple of minutes. He is a super nice guy, but will tell you off. I've seen it happen when we were hanging out at a car show. I saw David Tennant once at Heathrow. Didn't get to say hi. Ran into Jeremy Clarkson at a pub. Swell guy. Just as funny as you see him on TV, and boy can he smoke. Also, not super famous, but I met porn star Skin Diamond in LA once. Yes, I had to hide a boner. Yes, she noticed.